Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to another show of Man versus Picks. I am the nut. I am the man. We are getting into football weekend. Sunday's game, 12 o'clock, between the Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens. We are going to break that down tonight. We are going to break down one game a night. We are going to break down the other game tomorrow night. First and foremost, a good piss off to the Orlando Magic, who anybody that seen my video earlier knew that we were on the Magic -6. We approached with caution. We only did a half unit. We were afraid making that bet. I should have trusted my instincts. I should have went a full unit on not the Utah Jazz, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were in a bounce back spot. They had just gotten beat by the Milwaukee Bucks. There's that big ass dog of mine. Gotten beat by the Milwaukee Bucks, and they had to stay and wait to play them again. You knew they were stewing. You knew they were pissed, and you knew they were ready. I thought maybe that because it was the end of their road trip that they would actually not show up for this game, and they were going to get beat back to back. So I only included them on the parlay. That was the play that we missed. That was the play that we did not play. We played the Magic. They took our coin. We do not respect the Magic. They have now done that to us twice in the last week, once on a parlay and once on a single bet. So no more Magic for a while, but we will not be biased. We will hit our spots when we need to hit them. 1 second for this dog here. So we are ready. We are moving on to Saturday. We will have NBA play tomorrow. I have not looked at the card yet. Still getting over the sulking loss of the Orlando Magic for us, but we will get that coin back tomorrow. As for today, let's talk about Kansas City. Let's talk about Baltimore. Let's talk about 12 p.m. Sunday and the spread being -4. 44.5 for the total over-under. This spread opened up at 3 earlier in the week, went to 3.5 immediately, like upon arrival, went to 3.5, and then it bounced between 4 and 3.5 most of the week. It sits at 4 now. If you want it, you're gonna have to get 4. If you can do line shopping, you could find a 3.5. I'm gonna go ahead and say right out of the gate, fly, Ravens, fly. This ain't bias. This is me telling you right now. We're gonna peel back this onion. We're gonna tell you exactly why the Ravens are going to come lay down shop on the Kansas City Chiefs. Smackdown. This is what's happening here. Kansas City Chiefs barely got there. They got there because of the team behind me, you see, that was decimated by injury. We were down to 3 linebackers at one point. During that game, I told you we were a mass unit. I told you we were going to lose, and sure enough, we lost. We lost to them at the end of the game because Josh Allen makes bad decisions, sells the game. I don't know what the hell he does, but does not want to run or dump down the underneath pass to get you where you need to go as a Buffalo fan. So if you can't tell, I'm not mad about that at all. We're moving on from that. We're staying calculated, as Jay would say, and we're going to get our coin. Let's go. So, Sunday, Ravens, where do we want to start here? Let's start with the rushing. Rushing stats on this team. You got the Baltimore Ravens giving up 105 yards in their last, during the season, 115 in their last 3. You got Kansas City Chiefs that give up 114 during the season, 125 in their last 3. Obviously, we know the run game runs through Pacheco in Kansas City. I believe his total sitting over somewhere around 64, 63.5. You got the run game over with Edwards and Justice Hill. Obviously, you have to put Lamar Jackson into that mix there. When the playoff time comes, he's going to be running more than he usually does as well. So I believe Lamar Jackson's sitting at 66.5. The run game for the Baltimore Ravens should be able to click better than the Kansas City Chiefs on account of the fact that they are going to have the dual threat option with the quarterback and the running back. Gus Edwards can pound the shit out of it, but Justice Hill has actually turned into a real good dynamic number 2 where he's shifty. You know, he's getting good yardage coming out of there. They don't know if they're going to pass or run to him anymore, so it's helping them out. With that being said, Gay for the Kansas City Chiefs He could be out for this game. He's the spy that was on Josh Allen. He's the spy that would be on Lamar Jackson. If they don't have him in there, they don't have somebody fast enough to be able to spy correctly. So you could see Lamar having a day at that point if Gay's ruled out. So you'll want to watch for that. On another note, Pacheco is also supposed to be questionable. I'm pretty sure he's going to play, but he did have a questionable tag. There's a big thing that happened in this last game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Their left guard Tooney, who's an anchor, he's part of the blind side for him there. He went down with pectoral rip or some shit tear, and he's not playing this game, and that's going to change everything up as far as continuity and the ability to stop that badass Ravens defensive line as well. I got to lean towards the edge being the Baltimore Ravens in the run game on account of Lamar Jackson, on account of their running backs being just as good as Pacheco, in my opinion. So we're going to check mark the rush game with the Baltimore Ravens. Home field advantage, check mark the Baltimore Ravens. Past opponents, I got to say, you got to check mark the Baltimore Ravens. Let's think about this. This is something I wanted to break down here. The Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, everybody knows their story. They ain't supposed to be here right now. Everybody thought they were shit, that it was the end of this year, and they are shit. And they got fortuitous scheduling towards the end of the year, a shit conference, a division, I should say, and the ability to meet up with the Miami Dolphins, who can't play in cold weather and were beat to shit with injury, and also the Buffalo Bills, who were beat to shit. Neither one of those games did I think Kansas City was going to lose. Kansas City going to lose this game. They're playing a whole different fucking animal. You want to put this spread at 4 and act as if these two teams are on equal levels? They are not. The Baltimore Ravens are pissed that they are being compared to this team as a norm. What happened when Detroit was supposed to come over with their badass run game, and they were supposed to show Baltimore how badass Detroit was this year? I'll tell you what happened to them. It's right here, right in front of me. Detroit came over there on October 22nd, and Detroit was rolling at that point. It was week 7. They had beaten Kansas City. Ooh, badass Detroit coming. Shit kicked out. 38-6 they lost. Jackson had 357 yards passing. That'll go into tomorrow's notes when we're breaking down that game. Edwards for Detroit against Detroit, 64 yards rushing. And Edwards had a high receiving. Jesus Christ. Edwards, of all the people to lead in receiving that day with 80 yards. Attaboy, Edwards. So, the second game against a team that was supposed to be all badass. Let's just go through a couple. After they played Detroit, they played Arizona. They won 31-24. If their opponent was supposed to have the shit kicked out of them, Baltimore would play down to that opponent. Right? They wouldn't show up with the intensity level. If they were a team that was any kind of supposed to show up and play against Baltimore, Baltimore was laying whoop downs on their ass. Seattle versus Seattle, 37-3 at home. Versus Cleveland, that was that game where they blew it at the end there with the questionable shit in the second half. I don't know if you remember it. 33-1 they lost to Cleveland. That was when Cleveland had Deshaun Watson, of all people, come out and fucking lead them from behind on them. So that's a once out for me. Cincinnati, 34-20, they lost to them. At Los Angeles, Baltimore won 20-10, played down to their opponent. Versus Los Angeles, Rams, 37-31 in overtime. Not impressive. At Jacksonville, they won 23-7. And then at San Francisco, when everybody wanted to ask if San Francisco was the team that should be beating the shit out of Baltimore. So Detroit and San Francisco, both the best teams in the NFC that were supposed to show Baltimore, hey man, show up for the game, we show up. San Francisco got beat 33-19, ruined a goddamn MVP ticket that I had for Purdy by having him throw 4 interceptions. Single-handedly ruined the ticket and gave that fucking award to Lamar Jackson. Not bitter at all. Just moving past it. So, moving on. The last week of the season, they played Pittsburgh. Can't count that. That was Hundley against dipshit over there, the guy that hates Myles Garrett. So, pretty much, when all said, what I said, all that, told you all those scores, just to tell you, these motherfuckers rise up anytime there's a challenge. They might show up, play, win, go through the motions against these other teams. But when threatened, you motherfuckers get downright vicious, it seems like. So that's what I think about Baltimore, personal note. But let's go to the passing game. The passing game, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. That shit's real close. It's the 4th and 5th ranked passing defenses. Kansas City being 177 for the year, 203 the last 3. Baltimore being 191, 176 the last 3. So you have to peel the passing game apart. How? This is how I see this shit, right? You take that passing game and you say, who's the better quarterback? Who can pass the ball better? Well, we know it's Patty Mahomes, right? He ain't a piece of shit, but he can pass the ball better than Lamar. Lamar's getting better at it. Lamar's starting to get more weapons, right? So now, when you're breaking down the passing game, let's put the weapons that Patty has to throw to against the weapons that Lamar has to throw to. The weapons that Patty has, right? You got Rashee Rice and you got Travis Kelce. All right, so there's a nug. Kyle Hamilton. Is it Kyle Hamilton or is it that other dude? One of those two lockdown defensive backs is a shadower, right? And anytime there's a badass receiver, he'll shadow that receiver. This dude didn't allow a receiver to go over 50 yards on him in this season. So if they put that dude on Rashee Rice, then you've taken away one half of it. And now you got fat ass Kelce, who's been hanging around Taylor Swift. This dude don't look like he used to. He had a good game last week because we didn't have no fucking defense. The middle of our field was wide open. We had no linebacker. Fucking linebacker was, retired, 2 weeks removed from going for fucking vacation with his family. So, Travis Kelce showed up last week. Rest of the season, go look at it. Shit, nothing. Dude's garbage. It's shot shit. Travis trying to live off of that chick, man. Fucking Swifty. Taylor Swifty. So I hate that bitch. Anyway, whenever you break down the weapons, right? Who's he throwing to? He ain't throwing to those two. They're taken away. Now you got Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You got Justin Watson, right? I mean, come on, man. Lamar Jackson's not quite the passer. Flowers is just as good a receiver as Rice, if not better. And then the tight ends, Mark Andrews is supposed to be back. Isaiah Likely's been playing better than Mark Andrews was. So God forbid that they're both fucking looking good. And then if it's raining, you're going underneath routes. Tight ends in play. Running backs in play. I'll explain more about it. I fucking love the running back. Justice Hill out of the backfield this week, right? This dude, I'll put some stats on your shit that's a little bit crazy. 1 second. So where was I? So Justice Hill coming out of the backfield. This guy crazy, man. Over the last 5 games, this guy's averaging 35 receiving yards a game. Gus Edwards don't get targeted at all. If it's raining, they're going to go short yardage throws. Justice Hill, this dude's fast and shifty. His over-under was set at 11.5. That's why I hate not having a casino next to me. Now it's up to 13.5. Still think it flies over. He's going over the game, the receiving yards total for himself now, and also 10 of the last 11 games, the linebackers for the Kansas City Chiefs have allowed the running backs for the other teams to have over 50 yards receiving. Actually, 15 running backs in 10 games have had over 50 yards receiving. So that means that in a couple games, both of the running backs went over 50 yards. So if I had if I had a player prop lock that I thought was the lock of the week, it would be Justice Hill over 13.5 receiving yards. Wish I could get an 11.5. Shop around if you can. The other player prop that I like, it's Juice. It's minus 180. It's Lamar Jackson to have under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Kansas City Chiefs defense on passing has given up under 2 passing touchdowns. Only given up more than 1 passing touchdown like once in the last however many games. I don't got all these fucking stats in front of me. I just read this shit along the way, and then my brain can't remember half of it. But the stuff I do write down, take these little squandering notes, right? How about this note? In the third quarter, Baltimore, first in the league allowing points in the third quarter, held opponents to an average of 2.5 points in the third quarter. This means that these motherfuckers are going in there making the proper. What did they do last week? Houston Texans 10-10. Oh man, the Houston Texans are blitzing them a lot more. They didn't expect the blitzing. It's catching them by surprise, and Baltimore's a little rusty. They come out and it's 10-10, right? And they're hanging tight with them. Fucking at halftime, that old Michigan defensive coordinator that fucking they brought in, over to Baltimore there, just been pulling the strings, dude. Pulling the strings. 2.5 points allowed in the third quarter throughout the year. That's unbelievable. Give me the under. Give me the under for Kansas City Chiefs third quarter. Lock it in. Hey, there's another stat. Kansas City Chiefs in the second half have stayed under the second half total of Chiefs games. Not their team total, the entire total of second half totals has stayed under in like 80% of Kansas City Chiefs games. You motherfuckers come out after half and they can't score. You add on the third quarter being taken away by Baltimore and saying that they can't fucking score, the woes of the second half that already come, and the defense's ability to lock down in the second half but not able to score. Hey, sign me up. Second half total under. Lock it in. Justice Hill receiving yards over. Lock it in. Baltimore -4. Lock it in. We are cashing this coin. Hey man, we only got 2 games left. We got to get out there. We got to get out there, put some bets in, a couple extra ones that we normally don't want to bet. And we got to get some coin. Coin build up for the NBA. I can't believe that NBA shit earlier with the Orlando Magic. They're supposed to cover 6. I should have been on the Cleveland Cavaliers like I was on the parlay. But hey, spilt milk. Cry over it after I get off this thing. Come back tomorrow. We'll break down that San Francisco Lions game. Lots of shit you're going to want to know from that game as well. Lots of things, little nuggets that we want to put all the shit out there. We want to kick the books' ass this weekend, all right? Everybody wins except the books. We hate the fucking books. All right. I'm out. I am Man versus Picks. I am the Nut. Follow me on Twitter at TheNut008. Let's go, Man versus Picks. Let's get some cash. Let's get some coin.